Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is the Affiliate Party Podcast. We're coming to you live from the interesting state of Ohio, home of the Buckeyes, and whatever else Ohio is, Skyline Chili, all that good stuff. Skyline Chili. I saw some show the other day, Man vs. Food. I don't know if you ever seen that show. Of course, they eat a lot of. It used to be one guy. He used to go eat different places. I saw one episode. He went to this place that I've drove past 100 times in Amarillo, Texas, called the Big Texan, where you can, if you eat a 72-ounce steak, which I don't know why you would, if you eat a 72-ounce steak within an hour, you get the meal for free. 72 ounces of meat in one meal is quite a bit. It's a lot of bit to digest, you know. But I saw that show the other day, and the guy was in Ohio, and he ate first some kind of chili thing, and then he ate some kind of 8-pound pizza, which I was like, why would you want to eat that? Who knows? But anyway, today we're gonna talk about a couple of different things. First up, I know I probably discussed this before, but a couple weeks ago, I wrote an article about this affiliate program I was a part of that I quickly got out of. So I wrote this article, it's like 1,000 words or whatever. You can go check it out on my website, thelousydriver.com, if you want to. It's perfectly fine. And so I wrote the article, and then today I was checking my email, and I saw I had a message, and it said somebody has sent you a message about your article, and the guy, he was asking me, did I make any money, and he was investigating it, blah 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 blah, and I thought, and I thought to myself, everybody, I say, see, this is why we do this is why you have a blog, this is why you have a podcast, this is why you do whatever you do. So you find out this stuff for yourself, you review this stuff, and then other people come along, and then you give them the information, and then they can figure out for themselves if they want to take the deal or not. Now, I had to reply to the guy after I'm done with this podcast. I had to reply, and of course, I'm gonna tell him, in my estimation, I wouldn't do it, but hey, if you want to go ahead and try it, if you enjoy being on Facebook all day long, then be my guest. But me, the program didn't work for me, so I left it alone. But anyway, I just wanted to let everybody know, see, this is why we do what we do, because, let's tell the truth. If you get started today on an online business, you could teach somebody that's going to get started in November. You know what I mean? So don't think that, hey, I'm in the beginning stages of everything like that. I shouldn't try to produce content, There's always somebody that needs your help. Now, I've been at this for a while, but that don't even matter, I was like, well, somebody's reading the article, so that's good. But anyway, today we're going to talk about goals. I'm sure we talked about this before, but I listened to this book, this guy named Brian Tracy. Now, of course, these days I see a lot more stuff about self-help. People are attacking self-help people, which I understand. I get it. Some of it's hokey. Some of these people that claim they're self-help gurus or whatever, they don't have your best intentions in the world. So you definitely have to be leery about all that. But I listened to this audiobook about goals by this guy named Brian Tracy, and he had a couple books. But his books were like 3 hours, 4 hours long, so they wasn't that bad. They was pretty fast, So I listened to him, and one thing he said that stood out to me was, because of course, you all know we all do this thing every November, not November, but every January we tell ourselves, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, blah 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 blah. We make a list, and then we give it a go for about a couple of weeks, and we say, fuck it. Let's all tell the truth. I've told myself every year, this is going to be the year that I do this, that, and the other, Nah, never, I never do it. But this guy, Brian Tracy, he said a thing that you should do, which I'm going to try out, and I'm going to let you know how it goes. He said you should write. He said you should get a notebook. Then he said every day, either in the morning or before you go to bed, you should write down 10 to 15 goals that you have. It could be, and then he said, I'll give you the skinny. So maybe I'll give you the skinny, so you don't have to read the book. I'm here for you. Save yourself some time. But anyway, let me look. I got my notes. I took notes on this book. All right. He said, write your goals daily. 10 to 15 goals or 10 to 20 goals, something like that. And write them daily and use the 3 P's: positive, present, and personal. And I'll give you an example. Right now, the example I wrote down was I weigh 190 pounds. Right at this moment, I do not weigh 190 pounds. But I wrote it down in the present form because I'm going to drop down to 190 pounds. Right now, I weigh about 225, 230. But I'm going to drop down to 190 or whatever, you know. So he said write it in the present form and use I because you are going to do it. And then he said write them down every day, write different goals down every day, you know. And then also he said write down 3 action steps. So I put I weigh 190 pounds, and then I put action steps: work out daily, less sodas, because that's soda is my vice. I mean, Coke, I love some Coca-Cola. Okay. Anyway, and I put cut out snacks, but yeah, I can cut out some snacks, but soda is my main. If I can cut that soda out, I'll be all right. So that is 3 action steps. And then another thing he said was, no, that's about it. No. I'm lying. The last thing he said was something called mindstorming. If you write down these goals and you write down these actions, you could take one goal or whatever and put it into a form of a question. So I wrote, of course, how can I get down to this 190 pounds? And then I wrote out, I'm a star student. I wrote out 21 different things about how I can get my weight down to 190 pounds. So, I don't know about you. I know some of this stuff is kind of, kooky. But I figured I'm going to give this, writing my goals daily, I figured I'm going to give this a shot and see where it gets me. Because, I mean, really, reality is, I'm already headed towards my goals. I'm already headed towards what I want to do. But this could always, anything that'll help, I'll sign up. I'll try it out. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it for the next. I'll say for the next year. I'm gonna write my goals down every day, and then see where it gets me. So let's keep track of that. Maybe you would like to join me. Maybe you should join me. Let's all give it a try. And then we'll see how it goes. I mean, every day you can write down different goals. I got to write my goals down after this podcast. And for me, for some reason yesterday, he was talking about it might be hard, but I mean, we all got goals. We all got dreams that we want to do, We all got things that we want to do, so it's not that hard to figure out. Woo! But yeah, it's not that tough, so get you a notebook, get you a pen, and come on, let's all join together like Voltron and write our goals down on a daily basis. Because, and then in the morning, if you write them in the morning, if you write them at night, at some point during the day, you should look at them and remember, take a little action, and then you'll make things happen. And then it's weird because I've done this 2 days in a row, and the last couple of days, while I've been driving, when I've been driving and when I have turned the radio off and everything like that, if I'm just sitting here, I've actually been thinking more and more about these goals, and how I can get them and everything like that. So, I mean, in the beginning, that has, in the last couple of days, it has helped my mind, think about what I want to do and where I want to go, So, I mean, anything that can help you, I say, go for it. Now, am I going to spend $10,000 to hear this man speaking live? Of course not. But the audio book was the audio book was it comes with my Audible membership, so it's like $20 a month. I get 2 books, so get a couple books. Then with Audible, one good thing about them, you can always exchange a book if you don't like the book so much. So there's been a few books I've exchanged. I've exchanged too many books actually. Now I have to call them if I want to exchange a book. So I mean, there you go. So a little plug for Audible. If you don't want to sit there and read a book, you can listen to a book. And I give you another helpful tip. If you want to get some podcasts and stuff like that, if you put the speed at 1.5, it's not that fast. It doesn't have a lot of pauses. They don't talk like super fast, but they talk fast enough, and it cuts down on the time. So like, it's a podcast. The one podcast I listen to every week that's for just for pleasure, and is a wrestling podcast I listen to. Now, I don't watch wrestling anymore, but the guy's so entertaining. I listen to him, and also I listen to him because it helps me. I'm thinking to myself, how can I be more? Of course you want to give out the information, but you don't want to be bored. You know what I mean? You want to be a little more entertaining. So I'm like, how can I be a little more entertaining, a little more fun? So I listen to this guy, and I get a little clues, and I write down a couple things. I'm like, okay. I see what you're doing. I see where you're going. The ebbs and the flows, of a podcast, the ebbs and flows of the videos. You have to work on all this stuff. This stuff is not. Of course, we're all not born. We are all not ready to be made television stars and all that. Some of us have to work on this stuff. So if you can get different clues and different tips from people, it would definitely help you out. So whenever I watch, a lot of stuff I watch now, I watch with a different kind of lens. Normally I was just watching. Well, of course, before I wanted to run an empire, I'll just watch it to be consuming. But now I watch, and I'm like, how can I use that? Any kind of movie, any kind of thing I watch, I'm like, how can I use that for my marketing? How can I use that as far as like an email or a business? And you gotta turn on the thinking cap. Oh yeah, and before I go, I want to tell you, I know yesterday I talked to you about my wife and her email. I talked to my wife this morning, and she said she's gonna let me write some emails for her business. So people, I've already got a couple of good ideas. I'm gonna write these. I got a couple good headlines too. As far as cooking, a couple movie references, cooking. I'm gonna get these people. Not only am I going to get these people to open up the emails, I'm going to get these people to click on the links. So I told my wife, I said, please, don't read them. Let me write them. Let me send them out, and then let's see the results. And then if they got good results, of course I'm gonna tell her, hey, guess who's gonna be in charge of this email marketing from now on? Yours truly. Plus, it helps. It gives you good practice. So, if you have somebody in your life you can talk to about marketing, internet marketing, digital marketing. If you know somebody that owns a business, anything like that, any kind of clues you can get from them. Because my wife, she's good at calling people. See, she's not good at emailing, but she's great at calling people on the phone. So, I had to talk to her next week because I told you I'm going to start making more phone calls on my time. And of course, you know what always happens? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be honest with you. This week, I had a problem at work. So of course, they're calling every day. Every day this week they've been calling. Whenever I stop and take a break, whenever I'm in a good reception, problem number one for me. It's not an excuse, but it's a problem. But I gotta I just gotta figure this out. But I might have to do more night driving. But one problem, every time I want to stop and take a break, it's always bad reception because I'm on a cell phone, and I don't want to. When you call people, I don't want people to go what. I want to use my pitch. I want to use my quick pitch. I want to pitch them. I want to be done. I want to pitch them, be done. I don't want to have to have a lot of static and all that kind of stuff. So, like today, I had to stop in somewhere in between West Virginia and Ohio on this fuzzy service. So, that's something. But I'm going to have my wife start making some phone calls because I've heard my wife on the telephone talking to people about booking birthday parties and everything like that. She's very detailed. She's very thorough, and she gets these people signed up. And I'm like, you know what? I can learn something. I can see we're going back to what I talked about. I've sat there and I watched it before, and I hear her, and she's talking, and she's just making conversation with these people. And then in the middle of the conversation, she drops the sort of like a call to action. You know how we have online, you're like, hey, click on the link. How we try to drop it in there. Click on the link. But she drops it in there so smoothly, and she's like this, that, and the other, and then boom. So I'm like, man, how can I got to get that going. Because the key to all this is, not a key, but one thing that you have to do, because there's so many people now trying to sell stuff to people, and people hate to be sold to. People don't like to be sold to, but if you just, this is why I tell you yesterday, don't treat your email list like a booty call, But if you just talk to the people, get to know the people, weave your call to actions in there, it helps. So I need to get her to, because my times when I call people on the telephone, I mean, it's hit or miss with me. They either completely hang up or they completely engage. I don't know why. For me, the telephone, I just need to keep going. Actually, I need to keep getting better. But of course, for me, like one guy, I got him on the phone. He was like, yep. He was like, hey man, and then we talked for like 40 minutes. I closed the sale, made the sale, and I was like, great, 40 minutes. Next phone call this guy up. I think 40 seconds. This guy said, nope, I'm not interested. Nope. And hung up. So I'm like, damn. And normally it's either all in or nothing for me on these telephone calls, Like I called one young lady up. I'm like, hey, I'm part of this. Well, first off, that was the wrong thing when I said I'm a part of this program and we're making people see this. You can't start off with that. Now we're gonna go into a little sales. One thing you can't do, learn from me. Some things I can teach you. Some things I can teach you what not to do. And one thing that you don't do is don't start off with, would you like to work from home? Don't start off with that. And don't start off with, we're making people $500 a week. That's how I started off. And she's like, okay, yeah, just send me the link, whatever. And I was like, oh shit. Of course, I was kind of nervous, And of course, when you first start, when you go from, being an isolated, giant to, trying to make phone calls like, hey, like what's that movie? The movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, where he's selling penny stocks. The Wolf of Wall Street, yeah. All of a sudden, now you're Jordan Belfort. Hey, I'm willing and dealing on the phone. Hey, buy this, oh. It's kind of hard to go from, Tom Hanks and you're talking to a volleyball Wilson, the job I had or whatever, job I have, you isolate all the time, talking to yourself or talking to nobody really, the radio or whatever, to go from trying to be, you're thinking to yourself, I have to be the social butterfly. But, don't tell people, even in your, I know this is a little longer than what you expected, but even in your sales copy, whenever you do copywriting, don't just write work from home or, you can make, don't make promises that is obscene, because they will get, hit. They will come up into you, especially if you write the email, they will come into your spam. It will go into people's spam folder. you want to write the email like you're writing to a person. You know, I always think about, you know, either my mother or one of my best friend in high school. I think I'm talking to him when I'm writing the email. So I kind of write it in that way, you know, either my mom or, you know, him, you know, John boy, you know, that's what I think about. And then I just write the email. I don't write, hey, motherfucker, we making $75,000 over here. Get your ass over here and get this money. I mean, that's not good. That's spam. That's spammy, you know. So don't do that. And your sales copy and your emails and your telephone calls you make with people, don't start making all these promises. We're not a infomercial. We're not people screaming about, you know, the Ginsu knife. You know what I mean? So just, you know, don't do that. Make the phone call. Of course, we have to drop in the call to action. One thing I had to work on is when I'm writing. I'll write some good stuff. Don't get me wrong. Not that I'm, you know, but the stuff would be good. And then I'm like, okay, where do I put the call to action in there? How do I drop it? Because I got to get better at weaving in the call of action with the stuff that I write. So that's one thing I had to work on. You might be good at that already. I don't know how to, you know, I weave the sweat all the way down till I get to the bottom, and then it's kind of frayed, you know what I mean? So, but anyway, we covered a variety of topics today. I hope your brain isn't hurting. We went from goal writing to sales copies, but this is the podcast. We're here to learn. We're here to have a good time. We're here to have fun. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. I'm about to go eat some dinner and write down my goals. Try to write an article. At least write an outline. I gotta pump out this content, you know. You know what I need to do? I gotta get my podcast transcripts printed out, so that way I can start using these for articles, you know, because I mean we're probably at like episode 60 by now, so it's plenty of material that we have on these podcasts. But anyway, that's the problem that I have. You don't have that problem. Anyway, my name is Tony Zano. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Thank you for listening. And until next time, well, until tomorrow, we will talk to you later. And as always, everybody, peace.